Huh. In this video, we'll be going over we'll be working with, so we'll do C#. So we'll be going over a C# tutorial. So we'll be working with different arrays and a GUI. So I set up the form here. So we have test scores list box. So that's the identifier name, and then this button is. So the button name for this button is get scores button. And then we have 3 labels here: high score label, low score label, and average score label. Actually, I think I forgot the identifier for that one. Actually, no, so that's fine. So then we'll just we'll do the code. So we're going to need an event handler for the button. So first we'll have to add the using system.io directive. So we'll have to set up the we'll set up the button click event. So here we'll have get scores button dot click points a new get scores button. Actually, sorry, points a new event handler. Then you'll pass in get scores button underscore click. Then under the constructor we'll add a private void get scores button. So private void get scores button underscore click. Takes parameter object sender comma event args. Let's actually just create that name. So get scores button dot name points to get scores button. Actually, that one was already kind of set. So let me just check the event handler. Sorry, let me just check if I named the button correctly or spelled it correctly. So get scores button like that. Sorry, there should be get scores button dot click plus equals here. Let me just check something else here. There's something missing. Maybe just waiting for something. Designer saving. Okay, one sec. Let's just see what's happening here. Using system.io, we have public form. Get scores button dot click. Oh, sorry, forgot the semicolon there too. Okay, so now we should be able to just before we do the click event, let's do a method here. So we'll say private double average. So we'll say that it takes a parameter int array. So we'll open a block and then we'll say int total points to 0. double average. So in total points at 0, double average to hold average. So this is also a accumulator. So this is it's called technically a accumulator. So that may be asked on a test or something. Use an accumulator variable. That's like a term they might use instead of writing like use a variable to store the total of the values. They may ask you what an accumulator variable is, which is something easy, but you just might not know what it is. So it's something to hold like the total or the it's like a variable to store the total of something or a sum. You initialize it to 0 first. In most cases, not always. So double average will have to hold average. So then under here we'll have a loop. Oops, sorry. So here we'll have for int index points to 0. Index is less than int array dot length. Index plus plus. We'll say total plus equals int array of array index index. So it's going to add up all the values. And here we'll say average points to cast a double to total divided by int array dot length. Then we'll return the average after that. Because it's a double method, we want to return average, but we're casting, actually no, so yeah, we're returning average as a double. So we'll have another method underneath called highest or highest val. So you want to say, whoops, sorry. We'll say private int highest takes parameter int array. So int highest points to int array of array index 0. So we did these ones in the other lab. We did this in the other lab as well. So for int index points to 1, index is less than int array dot length. So here we'll say if int array of array index is greater than highest. What happened there? So say if int array of array index is greater than highest. And we'll say highest points to int array of array index. So then at the end, this is a int method, so we'll have to return a value, so we'll return an int value, so highest. And I'll do the same thing for lowest. So we'll say private int lowest takes parameter int array. So here we'll say int lowest points to int array of array index 0. So you will say for int index points to 1, index is less than, so it's less than int array dot length by index plus plus. And you will say if int array of array index is less than lowest. We'll say lowest points to int array of array index. And at the end we'll return lowest. Okay, so now we'll do the event handler. So we need a text file for this with, I think it's 5 values. Just 5 enter, what do we do this? Yeah, so in scores you can do double if you want. So it's just a text file with different values going from top to bottom. I just have 5 on different lines. And then so here I've already created the text file. It's stored somewhere that we're going to access it using a input stream. So we'll say try here. So we'll say try, so we'll create here a constant int size, points to 5. We'll say int, so int array scores, points to new int of array index size. We'll say int index points to 0. Int highest score points to, so int highest score, that's fine. So then int lowest score. Double average score. So double average score, and here we'll say stream reader input file. And here we'll say input file points to file dot open text. And we'll just pass in the path. You can pass in your own path if you're following along. So I call this file c#file.txt. It's on my desktop. So stream reader input file. We have that we're creating a file object to the stream to create an input stream. Then here we'll say, while the input file is not the end of the stream, and index is less than scores.length. Then we'll say scores of array index points to int.parse. So we're going to pass the input file.read line as a, so remember we're going to access a file contents with input file.read line to read each line from top to bottom. So every time it increments, starting at 0, because zeros are counter variables, so it's starting at 0. So every time we increment the loop, it's going to check if the file still has data in the file and the index is less than the scores.length, which is 5. So scores of array index points to, so it's going to pass the string in the file as an int, and the scores array, it's going to store that value in the scores array at array index. And then index plus plus. We'll say index plus plus. Then we'll just close the file stream outside the loop. So we'll close the stream reader file stream, so we're just going to call input file.close. So input file.close, and then under that we'll just have a for each loop, so for each int val in scores. Then we'll reference the test scores list box dot items dot add, and we'll add a val. Then we'll get the highest, lowest, and average scores. So we'll say highest score points to highest, passing in scores. We'll say lowest score points to the, so we're calling a function here, lowest, that we created already. We're passing the array scores as a parameter because it takes an array parameter. And then we'll say average score points to average, passing in the array score as a parameter. Let me check if do not do that one. No, I named it with a capital, so I'll just change the capital to a lowercase. Change scores to scores. Then we'll set the labels. We'll say highest score label points to highest score. Sorry. We'll say highest score label points to highest score dot toString. Because highest score is an int. So see here, highest score is an int. So now we're saying highest score points to highest, passing in scores. Lowest score points to lowest, passing in scores, and average score points to average, passing in scores. I don't know why that's maybe because we're not using it yet. So then here we'll say lowest score maybe I didn't name that label properly, so let me just check. So highest score label. So lowest score, let me just change that to label. So here I'll access that identifier here. Something's wrong with that, let me just check that again. I think the writer might be glitching out right now. It's saying that it's loading or something. So here we'll just say lowest score label. See if that works. So now we say lowest escape, so we'll say lowest score, sorry, did I mess this one up? So we'll say highest score label dot text property, points to highest score dot toString, and then here we'll say lowest score label dot text property, points to lowest, or low, points to lowest score dot, lowest score label dot to, or sorry, we have lowest score here dot toString. Here we'll say average score label dot text. Also something wrong with that. Labels, let me just check. So I've changed that to average score label. Average score label dot text points to average score dot toString. There seems to be an error somewhere, so let me just check where that is. Okay, so it's waiting for the catch. So we'll do the catch after the try here. It's not showing me that. Okay, so here we'll say catch, exception, exception. We'll say message box dot show, and we'll show exception dot message. Remember, message is a property, not a method. And that's it, so we'll just save it and run, so it should work. What's happening there? There might be a glitch with the GUI because I've changed the name after. Yeah, that's probably it. So don't worry about it, it works. I think because I had to change that, I used the design window to change the name a few times, and then I'll have to go back into the backend file and delete that stuff. You guys aren't gonna be able to see it anyways, but that's correct. So anyways, just some practice with arrays at least, and GUI elements. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys like the video, you can like and subscribe to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. In the next video, let's just see what we're going to do. So we're going to do some more advanced algorithms for sorting and searching arrays. So there's a few code examples. We've already talked about this earlier. So we'll have a few labs to do. So hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.